They're on pole position, a very pensive Mark Lloyd, the Formula V champion of Great Britain, a local lad from Maidstone, a printer, and looking at the field, he must be in with a pretty good chance of a victory here. But on the outside of the front row, a driver who always goes very well at Brands Hatch, and that's Dave Pritchard from Hereford. Dave, I think, would probably be hoping that it would rain because of the lower power that he has in his Metro, but nevertheless, one would expect him to perhaps be in the top 4. Remember, you've got to be in the top 6 to stand a chance of going through to the next round in the championship. So let's see what they go as Ron Hudson trails the pack away. Oh, and trouble's there. Ron Hudson getting caught up with Nick Martin. Mick Mice also involved in that. And that really was a very, very hairy moment. 184, he's got away. But it's Rob Gibson who's emerged from it all with a fairly comfortable lead, as he comes down, heading Warwick Barnes down the hill into the S's for the first time. And Rob Gibson and 45, Ian Sandworth in troubles there, the lad from County Durham. Ian Sandworth in troubles as Rob Gibson comes up into the Druids hairpin for the first time. Warwick Barnes a long way back in second place with the TR8. Behind him it's Dave Phillipson, I think, in car number 139, the Morpeth farmer from Northumberland. But Gibbo getting well clear now, and Rob Gibson, whom we're looking forward to seeing not too long ahead in a four-wheel drive car, still with a two-wheel drive Porsche, but he's really pulled well clear of a very tightly bunched group of cars there for the midfield placings. I can see Mark Lloyd some way down, but it's Rob Gibson well clear. Mark Lloyd down there in 5th position behind Bob Smith. Then comes Dave Pritchard. Meantime, Rob Gibson getting along. Rob Gibson with the Matty Alamaki type spoiler now fitted to the back of the two-wheel drive Porsche as Barnes comes through in the Quaife TR8 in second place. Mark Lloyd a long way back, and I think Mark Lloyd in troubles. Vic Moyse looks as though he has restarted following that start line incident. But the leader is Rob Gibson by a very, very clear margin at the moment. A lot of distance between them, but a terrific scrap going on here for second, third and fourth. Still led by Warwick Barnes from Dave Phillipson, and in behind Phillipson there we can see Bob Smith's escort, and Bob Smith coming up now into third place. Bob Smith getting ahead of Dave Phillipson, and now setting about Warwick Barnes, who obligingly spins right across his bows, and Barnes drops down into fourth place. That puts Phillipson third, but into second place now Bob Smith, Nick Martin and Mick Moyse go through as Barnes rejoins, but up front the leader a long way gone is Rob Gibson. Nick Martin there we can see Mick Moyse, but meanwhile there comes the leader, Rob Gibson, who's put all of his troubles and all of his problems behind him, and literally behind him, and Robert is cocking his heels in the air as he goes through the chicane up to the top of Paddock Turn with a lap and a half to go, and Gibson spins it. Oh, and Gibson has thrown it away under no pressure whatsoever. Can he rejoin before the rest of the field get there? Miraculously his lead was such that Gibbo can rejoin. Rob Gibson rejoins before the rest of the field comes through, and he's very slow getting away. Meantime, into second place has come Dave Phillipson, surely. Dave Phillipson into second place with Bob Smith in third, and they've got a chance now for a second bite at the cherry as all three come up into Druids. Gibson weaving around a bit there under braking. I don't know if he's got a brake problem. It could be a brake problem with Gibson as all three come round into the Langley's Gap to go away almost to the start of their last lap. Last lap coming up now, and it's Gibson, and Dave Phillipson really is hauling him in, and I think Gibson must have a trouble with the Porsche, because Dave Phillipson really coming up to have a look at Gibbo now. Bob Smith not that far away. We can see that Gibson is still holding the advantage. Phillipson's trailing a bit of smoke on occasions, but going at no reduced speed. All three of them well clear of the rest of the field as they trip onto the Cooper Straight. Is number 15, Rob Gibson, still just managing to hold the lead, but again the Porsche looking very, very unstable under braking, and that allows Phillipson and Smith to close in once again as they climb the hill up to the top of Paddock Turn, turn right onto the descent of Tumbledown Hill for the last time, and Gibson beginning to ease away once again into a slightly more secure lead. Now there's smoke coming from Gibson's Porsche, but it doesn't seem to be causing a problem, and Gibson is leading. Phillipson still under a lot of pressure from Bob Smith, all three coming up round the Druids hairpin for the last time, and quite a lot of different machinery here when you think about the rear engine rear wheel drive Porsche, the front engine front wheel drive Fiesta, and the front engine rear wheel drive Escort. And Gibson coming in, pressure as he comes through to the flag, and at the flag, surely yes, it's Phillipson takes it. Phillipson takes it from Gibson at the flag. So a last ditch effort there from Dave Phillipson paid off, and the Northumberland farmer comes through to take victory in car number 139. Rob Gibson has to settle for second place with Bob Smith in there, a very close third. A very good race, and give on the back in car number 66, Mark Renison on 20 points, but only 1 point behind him, equal second. On the outside of the front row, 18, Will Gollop, and then down there on pole position is John Welsh. John, how do you feel about your chances?
They're getting worse as the day's going on. Everyone else is learning to drive four-wheel drive cars, but we've got obviously Dimmy on my left, Mark right on the back, which we've got to watch, and Will from the dry line on the outside.
Yeah, you're on pole position though. Is that an advantage here at Brands?
Normally at Brands is a disadvantage because the cars drop to the right and pick up the very damp line on the right. I'd better start the engine, otherwise I'm going to get left behind.
Yeah, I think you better head.
Right.
So, as John, you can see the rev counter flicking there, fires up the X-Track, so the start line marshal runs for his life as the cars are unleashed onto the circuit. John Welsh going away with Will Gollop up into second place as they pour away up into and round tumble downhill. Dimmy is third, Mark Renison already down into fourth, and Will Gollop coming through to take the lead from Johnny Welsh. Johnny Welsh down into second place now, round the S's and up into the ascent of Halewood Hill, and it's Will Gollop from John Welsh, Dimmy Mavropoulos, Mark Renison, then comes 26 Tony Bardi, John Waghorn, and into the top corner we can see that John Welsh has now closed in on Will Gollop. John Welsh closing on Will Gollop as they come into Langley's Gap, the long Langley's Gap, and see if we can get reaction on this from John.
That was a little bit close on the limit. I don't know if we can turn...
As we see Will Gollop retaining that lead, and from the inside of John Welsh's car, a lovely close-up view of the back end of Will Gollop's Metro, through the chicane and up the hill. Will Gollop still holding that advantage from John Welsh. John diving to the inside, making sure, and Will Gollop, I think, nearly overcooking it there, but getting away with it. And John Welsh finding the opportunity to come alongside, but Will Gollop's got the inside line for the first part of the S's and capitalises on that, moves over, closes the door once again on John Welsh, retains that lead but drifts wide, and this is where John Welsh could make his move as they come into Druids, and indeed Johnny Welsh gets onto the inside, and John Welsh has now taken the advantage from Will Gollop, and Will Gollop getting the Metro very sideways. Look at that battle going on for third and fourth places between Dimmy and Mark Renison, the championship leader. But it is indeed still Will Gollop as Mark Renison, the championship leader, tries to do something about Dimmy Mavropoulos but cannot do so. John Welsh coming down onto the Cooper Straight and feeling, I should think, happy. Now you're in the lead, John. Yes, I'm sure he must be, but not for much longer if Will Gollop can do anything about it. Will Gollop coming through on the inside and retakes the lead from John Welsh. This is tremendous stuff between these two top British drivers, and now it's John Welsh again having to trail the familiar red and blue Metro of Will Gollop, who takes a very, very tight line there, giving Johnny no room whatsoever to sneak through on the inside. Driving a very defensive and fast rate here is Will Gollop, using every inch of the track to try and keep the reigning champion John Welsh at bay, and succeeding very successfully as they come away up into Druids. They've got just over a lap left to go. Brake lights flicking on there, you can see from Will Gollop as he goes through Langley's Gap. John Welsh's car blowing a bit of smoke, but this race now developing between these two drivers at the start for equal second in the championship, and it looks as though at the end of this race one of them is going to emerge as the championship leader. But we can see that John Welsh is now trailing quite a lot of smoke and vapour from the back end of the X-Track. Meantime, I think Mark Renison may have made it through into third place. John Swinscreen getting a little bit clouded up there from the muck thrown up from the Will Gollop car, but not enough to cause any problems. John Welsh still trying to really hard indeed as they come up onto the top of Tumble Downhill for the last time. This is where John Welsh has got to try and make his move, but notice once again that Will Gollop tucks himself right in on the tight apex of the corner, giving John Welsh no room whatsoever. And the British Formula B champion, Will Gollop, leading the reigning British champion, as we see Mark Renison now in third place and coaching on them as he gets away from Dimmy Mavropoulos, and Will Gollop comes round still in the lead from John Welsh, with Mark Renison getting very, very close indeed as they come along towards the checkered flag. Then who's it going to be? And it's Will Gollop who wins it. Will Gollop wins this one from John Welsh, and that will now put Will Gollop surely into the lead of the championship. Very, very close now, and it looks as though Will Gollop now leads from Johnny Welsh, who must now be equal, I think, with Mark Renison for second place.
Arthur Debenham spot on as usual. Will Gollop is the new league leader with 29 points. Mark Renison and John Welch are equal second. Then comes Dimi Mavropoulos with 24 and Tony Bardi with 22. And what a moment for Will Gollop, delighting his local followers here at Brands Hatch. And so to race 3.
On the outside of the front row there, car number 22, Thor Holm, the very rapid Norwegian, but lurking just there behind him, we have Trevor Hopkins. Trevor, your feelings on this race?
Yeah, we've got Thor Holmes on the left and John Smith on the right.
Yeah, it's going to be quite a problem, isn't it?
And only a little gap to go through.
Can Trevor aim the Shell Oils RS200 into that gap and take the lead, as he did very effectively earlier in this series? Very shortly we shall know, as the start line marshal comes up, checks that all cars are ready to go. The very rapid Roger Newbold on pole position in car number 34. But as the lights turn green, smoke begins to pour from the X-Track, and we can see that Trevor hasn't made a way through that gap which closed in on him. And as they come away, it looks as though John Smith has made the early running. Yes, John Smith makes the early running. Into second place goes Thor Holm, with Trevor into third place, Roger Newbold fourth, and Holm spinning out. Thor Holm has spun off and parked himself obligingly in front of a Shell Oils banner. Meantime, out of the S's comes the Gita Fashions X-Track of John Smith, with Hopkins up now into second place, Roger Newbold in third, leading the two-wheel drive cars. And the number 22 car of Holm has rejoined down at the tail end of the field. See how he can make his way through the traffic over the next 3 laps. But meantime, it's 44, John Smith from Folkestone leading this one from Trevor Hopkins, his near neighbour from Ashford, in the new RS200. But behind them, Roger Newbold from Harrogate in Yorkshire, with his very rapid Ford-powered mid-engined Renault 5. It's a Renault 5 turbo configuration, but it's the Ford-powered car. Then comes Terry Sound, but meantime Trevor Hopkins doing everything he can, as we can see from his windscreen that John Smith is quite a long way in front as they come through the chicane and away. Roger Newbold closing in there on Trevor Hopkins, and Newbold going very, very well indeed. But if anything, I think Trevor Hopkins is now closing on John Smith as they come down, tumble downhill. And yes, the Shell Oils RS200 of Trevor closing right up on the Gita Fashions car of John Smith. And John now having to drive a very, very rapid race if he's going to hold off the 4 times British champion, Trevor Hopkins. Can he do it? 2 very experienced drivers with a lot of experience here in Britain and also on the continent. And it's good to see John Smith back in a very competitive car, and also Trevor Hopkins. And those two getting very close together as they come along the knife edge to go away to the start of another lap. But just look how Roger Newbold is hanging on in there with the little Renault. Then comes Terry Souden from Bristol. Behind him, it looks like 27, Jeff Reynolds, the Formula C champion of Great Britain. But meantime, Trevor Hopkins can see that the gap has come visibly down now between himself and John Smith as they come down into the chicane. Again, smoke pouring from the rear end of the X-Tracks, which is a little bit of a feature of these cars, nothing to worry about. In the meantime, Hoppy, flame coming from the exhaust as he goes down through the gears into tumble downhill, and he's right in there now with John Smith looking for a way past, getting alongside. The flame from the back end of the Escort lights up the skies here at Brands Hatch, but so does John Smith light up the leading position as he goes away up the hill, still holding off Trevor Hopkins. And the battle between these two boys is allowing Roger Newbold to amazingly keep in there with them. The two leaders, each trying to outmaneuver each other, are slowing themselves down in the process, and that's allowing Newbold to come in third place. But meantime, John Smith, it is still holding the advantage as he goes away to start his last lap on the leaders then on their last lap, and Newbold still an amazing third place and a long way clear of the rest of the field. But up front, Trevor Hopkins trying very, very hard to get maximum points here this afternoon, and Newbold going very well in there. Still John Smith holding the advantage as he comes down into the chicane for the last time. Trevor going down through the gears into the very tight right and left string up the chicane, up the hill to the top of Paddock Turn, and John Smith keeping a very tight line. Look at the flame from the Escort Turbo's exhaust on the overrun, and now Trevor having another go. Trevor getting alongside him, but can he move the advantage as they go in? He's got to keep alongside and try and take the inside line going out, and he's done it. And Trevor Hopkins has taken the lead, and Newbold is coming in to have a look at second place behind John Smith. There's an amazing drive from Roger Newbold, but up front it's still Trevor Hopkins leading, Hoppy leading, Gentleman John as they come round Druids into Langley's Gap for the last time, coming up towards the checkered flag. Car number 2, Trevor Hopkins is going to take it, and Hoppy wins in car number 2 from number 44, John Smith, with Roger Newbold. An amazing third place, I think, but Newbold is, yes, there he is, dropping back a long way at the end. But up front, there's number 37, Terry Souden, still holding off Trevor Reeves as they race to the flag, and it is still Terry Souden from Trevor Reeves, but a victory there for Trevor Hopkins, and a good win for Trevor.
Another thrilling race, and here's how it affects the top of the table. Will Gollop, Mark Rennison and John Welch, the big three we mentioned earlier. John Smith, second in that last race, moving into 4th place overall with 26 points. Trevor Hopkins up to 24 thanks to the 10 points he's just collected, and also on 24, Dimi Mavropoulos. Moving on down, Rob Gibson has 23, Tony Bardi 22, Trevor Reeves and John Waghorn have 21, David Phillipson 20 and Terry Sowden 18. The top 10, remember, go through to the grand final.